Welcome to Study Loop.
Okay, in order to solve this question, we have to talk about some features of the lining of the small intestine. Okay, remember that in the digestive tract, this is the esophagus, this is going to be the stomach, and here the duodenum is going to start, and then the rest of the small intestine. Okay, the jejunum and ileum. When someone eats, food is going to pass through the esophagus and then to the stomach, and all the nutrients or the food we eat, for example, proteins, carbohydrates, and also fats, are going to be dissolved into small particles. Okay, for example, into monomers in general. For example, carbohydrates. We normally eat them as polysaccharides, and also as disaccharides or oligosaccharides. Okay. For example, here we have sucrose, that is a disaccharide, for example. So one example, okay? But during digestion, this type of carbohydrates are going to be divided into monosaccharides. It means to their most basic form, that are glucose, fructose, and galactose. Okay, and they are going to get like that here in the small intestine, and they are going to be absorbed. Okay, let's try to expand this part of the small intestine. Actually, the lining of the small intestine has folds that are called microvilli. Okay, microvilli. Okay, and this is going to be like this, and they are called microvilli because you can't see them like with your eyes. Okay, you have to use like a microscope in order to see them. For example, besides microvilli, because of these folds, okay, and these folds not only have like microvilli but also villi. Okay, for example, it can look like this. This is the normal epithelium or small intestine or the small bowel. Okay, and these are going to be the villi. Okay, it's going to be the villi. And where are the microvilli? Well, if you expand one portion of this villi, you're going to see this. Okay, so practically all of this part is like this, and these are microvilli. Okay, and they are going to increase the surface of absorption. Why? Because imagine you have only this. Okay, then you are going to absorb food here. You're going to also absorb nutrients in these parts, for example. But what happens when you have like this? Well, or this. Let's another example. You have the same size, but instead of being flat, it is like this. It is almost the same size than here. However, you're going to absorb food not only in those portions, but here, 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 and all of these parts. So practically you're increasing the surface for absorption because of these folds. Okay, and this is, for example, villi, and imagine a microvilli. Okay, this is going to increase even further the surface for absorption. So let's answer the question. Cells lining the intestine absorb a lot of nutrients. How did those cells adapt to their function? Okay, in order to absorb nutrients. Option A says cells use cilia to move nutrients to their surface. Okay, this is not true. This is not the answer for this question. Then option B says cells grow much larger than adjacent cells to increase intake. This is also false. That doesn't occur. Option C says cells are flat and thin to absorb nutrients, more nutrients. It means like this. Okay, and this is not the case of a small intestine, so this is false. Option D says membrane folds called microvilli increase the surface area, and this is true. Okay, because these folds are folds of the cell membrane of these cells, and they are going to fold in order to increase the surface area for absorption. Okay, so the answer for this question is option D.